Welcome, Don.
Getting laughs at my expense. Look at that.
Glad
Don
to-
Malsby. Woo! I don't know if Don remembers this. The very first SKO I did was 1999. And I remember it very clearly because you guys made your number, and as the deal, Don, shaved his head that year. Remember that? Remember that? Now, I wasn't here earlier today, but looking at Don's head, apparently you made your number again. Save that one. Didn't tell you I was going to do that one. Couple of things before I get started. It's President's Day, so let's hear it for Greg Hinckley. He's your president. There we go. Secondly, and I'm sure because you're all nerds, you planned this, it's the start of Engineers Week. It is. It is. This is the first day of Engineers Week. Yeah? Engineers, let's hear it. Binary high five. 101. That's what you do, Engineers Week. You give people the binary high five. 101. So, as the engineer comedian, I figured, that's what makes me different. So, what makes me different than other comics is I simply take the time to graph and chart my jokes. That's it. I'm an observational comic. Here, for example, my first slide. This is what's going to happen when you make microwave popcorn, right? There's the number of edible pieces there on the y-axis. There's the time. You're at 1 minute, 2 minutes. No pieces have popped. It's very quiet. At some point above 2 minutes, you don't know where, all pieces have popped, all pieces are burnt. The bag is on fire, the smoke alarm is blaring, and your house stinks for a week. And that small amount of time, it can actually get edible popcorn that is 0.001 seconds. So I'm into probability statistics. Basic probability says if you flip a quarter 1,000 times, it will land heads 500 times and tails 500 times. And that's what will happen with the standard deviation. But not everything. If you drop a piece of jelly bread, like my son has done many times, 1,000 times, it will not land jelly side down 500 times and jelly side up. No, it'll land jelly side down the messy way 800 times and jelly side up 200 times. And that, by the way, is on a kitchen floor. If you have a nice rug, forget it. Now, I'm into data. I've collected a lot of data, and I believe this to be true. I believe there is only one ultrasound, and they give the same photo to every single person. Right? They all look exactly like that. So I'm getting ready for tonight's show, and the Mentor folks told me it's business dress tonight. It's actually black tie, but they said business dress. And looking around the room, that is clearly open to interpretation. But that's normal, because wherever you work, it depends on what industry you're in, what company you work for, what part of the country, what kind of the part of the world you live in. That's kind of the typical business, casual, and casual. Now, it's different. We're in Texas. Here's Texas business clothing standard. There's business. Got to have the cowboy hat. There's business casual. And then there's casual in Texas. I took the hat off. Now, I know we got folks from the Pac Rim. They're different, too. There's business Pac Rim, very professional. There's business casual. You see, have the non-white shirt. And then you have casual. You have the tie. It's actually slightly loosened. Slightly. By Pac Rim standards, the guy on the right, wild and crazy. I got Greg to laugh. That's good. Then I've known Hans for years. So Germany was based on Hans. There's business in Germany. There's business casual in Germany, and then there's casual. Now, engineers like myself, it is Engineers Week. We have our own dress standards. There's me on casual day. That's pretty typical. Then there's here business casual. Hard to tell, but I actually have socks on. And then here's business. I have socks and clean underwear. Completely different. And then IT folks, because I know there's engineers IT, not exactly the same. And IT business, there's your IT business. You'll notice, has the clean underwear, but forget about the socks. And then there's business, and then there's casual. You want your IT folks working at home. That's what you want. So I don't know if you guys realized it, but next Sunday is the Oscars. It's Oscar week. And I got to thinking, movies, they make movies about everything. They're making Steve Jobs the movie, right? Jobs the movie's coming out. And who's playing Steve Jobs but Ashton Kutcher, right? I would have never put those two together, and I think I could do a better job at casting than these people. So what if someday they made a movie about Apple? Why not Mentor Graphics the movie? Who would play who in Mentor Graphics the movie? So I put my mind to it. I found some pictures on the internet. I'm going to do a little casting. I had some ideas. So playing Rick in Mentor Graphics the movie will be Dennis Farina. If you're familiar with him. I thought he looked like him. To play Dan Gilvray, I thought we would get Jay Leno. Something about it. Something in the eyes. I'm not sure what it is. Joe Sawicki had a couple ideas for Joe. The first one I had was Al Pacino. But then a better show, in my opinion, that's on TV right now, Steve Buscemi. Danny was up here before, and the only thing I could think, Jet Li, because he's kicking butt. Dan Cantow was, I looked at Don a long time, too long, frankly. He was hard, and the best I could come on, Jimmy Kimmel. I thought Jimmy Kimmel. Hans, I had a couple ideas for Hans. The first one I had was Bernard Langer, the golfer. You have to throw the hat on. Or Barry Manilow. Somewhere between those. If you could cross. No. Paul, again, I looked at Paul an uncomfortably long time. And I got close, and then I realized why. It's pretty much any TV anchorman, anyone, just anyone, just a TV anchorman. Look. Eric, who was just up here, two ideas for Eric. The first one was Dieter from Sprockets. If you don't know, it's a Saturday Night Live sketch. Or we could go with Mr. Clean, because that one's not as good. Henry, I remember. I've known Henry for as long as I've been working, and I had a couple ideas for Henry. First, I had Rod Steiger, who just got that intense look. But then I realized we have to have kids. We want kids to come to Mentor Graphics, the movie. So I thought we'd go with Professor Honeydew. Get a Muppet in there. Mark Krabako, again, difficult. I looked at him a long time, and again, I think it was because not one person, but several. I think any guy from The Sopranos. You just, that guy, or that guy, or that guy, or that guy. Take your choice. Now, here's an interesting thing I found. I actually did a bit similar to this in 2003, and I was looking at the pictures. Look at Greg's picture in 2003. Then there's 2013. I realized as Greg gets older, you know what's happened? His glasses are getting thicker. He's not aging, but his glasses, so pretty much by 2033. Oh, you like that? But actually, in the movie, I thought, to get to play Greg, I thought would Philip Seymour Hoffman, yeah. That was perfect, I thought. Then I've had Wally. Wally was freaky, man, because I looked at, this is the picture I had for Wally. Then I realized, Wally's not, what is going on with you? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Is there a JPEG of you that's aging somewhere? So playing Wally will be my favorite actor, Wallace Shawn. You are Wallace Shawn, I'm sorry, and a great actor. But then I realized Wallace Shawn, way too old. The only other actor I know that doesn't age will be Keanu Reeves. So Keanu Reeves has to play you. And then, it's amazing, I looked at Don. Now, Don looked a lot different than when I met him. Back to 2003, had a little more hair. Then I think that'll be him in 2023. And then eventually, just aging.